My name is Carin Hebenstreit, and I'm a portrait painter here in Cincinnati. I've been a portrait painter since about 1980. And Holly came to me and asked Bob and I to do this project. I have never painted on a violin. I've painted a violin, but I've never painted on a violin. This actually was Bob's idea to put this together like this. He thought that the Mendelssohn music on top of the baby violin was a great addition. Since we had two of them, we had to use them.
You being a portrait artist decided to put the heads.
Of course, I do what I know.
Of Felix and Fanny Mendelssohn, brother and sister.
That's right.
Which is the program that we're being played by the CCO.
They collaborated. As a matter of fact, Fanny was told that she was not going to be published, that because she was a woman, she was to stay at home and take care of the children in the household. And she could help her brother, but that's it. So she did help her brother for a long time, and some people argue that she may even have been the superior composer. However, she died when she was 41, I believe. And 1 year prior to that, she was published for the very first time, if you can believe that. And her brother, after she died, was devastated. He said it will never be the same again. And he passed away within a year after her death. Here we are representing the two of us working together, this talk about.
Well, once Carin decided to use the large violin and put portraits.
Of course, I'm the most important artist here.
On the violin, we thought, well, what are we going to do with the smaller violin? How can we connect that or make it a separate project? And for some reason, the idea of putting the sheet music of Mendelssohn's on the front of this violin and attaching it to this one just came out of nowhere. The idea just flashed in our head. So the next thing was to find out how to get the sheet music on this part of the violin, the front side of the small violin, and make it, just apply it. So we started looking at Mendelssohn's music, like the Italian Symphony, but we weren't able to find anything right away on the computer. But then we found out through a friend of ours that he had sheet music of Mendelssohn's and some other composers like this in a magazine, or a sheet music magazine. So with that, we were able to get a nice black and white copy to apply to this part of the violin. So what was done was we took the sheet music like this, and instead of using the original, which was in the magazine, we had copies made of it and slightly smaller, so it would relate to this size violin. Then we came up with the idea of acrylic transfer. In other words, the acrylic medium, which is water-based, of course, was applied to the copy we made of this sheet music, about 10 layers of it on the front side.
Very time-consuming.
Very time-consuming. So we had 10 layers of acrylic varnish on the front side of it, and that had to sit and dry for some time. And then by using your finger, you could rub off the back of the acrylic or of the transfer and get most of the opaque paper off, leaving just most of the type and just a little shading of white paper in the back. So once that was taken care of, you could burnish it down on the violin using the same varnish, acrylic varnish. The acrylic varnish was applied to the back of the violin first, and then the transfer, the actual copy of the notes, was laid over top of that and burnished down so it conformed to the shape of the violin. And so then you had some of the coloring of the violin, the wood coloring, coming through, and then after that was completed, there was a coat of varnish put on top to protect the surface of the music. Then, of course, that violin was mounted to the big one. If Carin, if you can turn it, show angle iron in the back here. Had to be carefully screwed into the violin only where there's, if you know the construction of an instrument like this, you have more wood around the outside edge, but very little, of course, in the front and back, so where it's very delicate. So they were fastened to the wood that's running along the edge, inside edge of the violin on both the large and small one to anchor it tight so it wouldn't come apart.
Aren't we clever?
Cincinnati Chamber Orchestra will be playing at the School of Performing Arts Theater August 10th. And in the program, there's several works by Felix Mendelssohn. I think there's one piece by his sister, Fanny. And so this is where we got the idea to use that sheet music of his for the violin. And of course, the portraits of Fanny and Felix Mendelssohn to go along, tying in with that program of that period.
And when is the program going to be played?
It's August the 10th. August the 10th,
So see you there.
yes.